in the big leagues, some of the best guys like Andy Pettitte, you guys know Andy Pettitte, old Yankees pitcher, he was one of the best ever. One of the reasons his move was so good is because he milked every bit of that 45 degree, which is not really in the rule book, but it's essentially the rule, that you get basically 45 degrees. And so if you looked at Andy Pettitte in slow motion, he was extremely good. Let me switch my glove here. He was extremely good with using your mindset, but taking it as far as he possibly could. He wanted to go all the way up. His leg was coming all the way down, almost, pretty much intact. So from here to here, you could not tell the difference between him going home or when he eventually turned over to first. And this is hard because I have to keep my shoulders here as long as I can as my body starts to fly out, and then I'm going to turn my upper body later. But what we don't want to do is step too much towards first base. So this is a challenge because our goal is my upper body is going to say pitch as long as possible, while my lower half starts to say, I'm going to first base. So let's do 2 more with you. And my goal is that you land somewhere in here this time. Don't care where the ball goes. Again, don't be afraid to make mistakes with your throws. You just want to milk it as long as you possibly can. You're good. That was better. You got a lot farther down, right? I think your step was maybe here that time, which is great. And especially, this is a scary part to land on. Like, this is really steep. This is a much better, stable base to land on. So your goal is to get a little farther down there. Yeah, that was good. And so that throw pulled down the line. Why do you think his throw pulled down the line there? Because his body's going home more. And that's the challenge of this. That's why it gets scary and it feels tough, because you feel your body going down here, and that's why you have to get really good at the last second when it's time to make that throw of turning your upper body at the very end to try to get into your upper body into a good throwing position to first base. So guys, remember, the power of being a lefty is like, this move isn't any more likely to get them than a righty's move, right? They're going to see you right away. They're going to be looking for that. But when does the runner have to take off? For the run, if he wants to steal to have any chance, he's got to go probably on first move. He's going to take off, right? And so one of the challenges of being a lefty is you have to come up with 2 truths in your head as you come up, which is, if I see him take off, what are you going to do? Like, as soon as if he goes, I'm abandoning, and it's like, boom, get it over there, right? But you have to also be stable enough where it's like, all right, he's not going. I'm going to go home. Oh, no, I'm not, right? Like, so basically you have to be ready to pitch, to pick, or to snap it over there fast if you see him go, because you don't want to have to do your full move if he's already taken off, right? You just want to get rid of the ball. So that's why practicing this a lot, playing catch, which we'll talk about, is so important, because you have to be really comfortable in this first part of your pickup. Like, I can do anything I want to do. I can do any of the 3, but from like here to here, right? Because that's, if he's going to go on first move, it's going to go right now, right? And then here it's like, okay, he hasn't gone. What am I doing? And in your head, when you get on the mound, you should know, I'm either pitching or I'm picking here, right? And the only time you'd pick unexpectedly is if you see him take off, right? So before you come up, you're like, I'm pitching. But the only time I might not pitch is if I see him take off. So I'm going to watch. All right, I'm going to pitch. Oh, he took off. Boom. And then, no, it doesn't matter, but, and then it's like, I'm going to pick. And so in that case, if your first baseman should yell, but you don't want to have to go through the whole thing, because if he goes, he's going, then just like bail over and then get him, right? And that's easy because you can just shove your body towards first base, right? Let's do 1 more. And again, the key is I'm staring with my upper body as long as I can. I'm letting my legs start to go down. And this is the problem that most lefties make, is they lift up and they start to go as soon as they hit their apex. You want to say, I'm letting my leg go down before I'm making a decision. So I'm getting here, even to here, and then it's pick off move or pitch, okay? And that's what's really tough. All right, go again. Give me like 2 more. So don't make a decision until your leg's going down. Ooh, that was dirty, wasn't it? That was good. Yeah, and that's where the more and more he practices that, he'll be able to control that throw. But that was a really good move. Like, you were very far down. We had no idea what was going to happen. Go again. Yeah, that was nice. That was nice. Very good. That's going to pick a bunch of guys off, right? Good. Which of those three do you think was his best?
The one with...
Yeah, I think the second one was his best. And so, well, we'll cover that at the end. Okay, let's talk about the next move. So for lefties, we'll cover this quick. Do you guys ever do your snap throw? What do you guys think? When do you do a snap throw as a lefty? Righties can answer this too. You have to be really smart about taking your lead, because really good left-handed pitchers with a snap throw, a snap throw, they're going to get in the habit of watching what you do. And a lot of times base runners, you start to feel like I'm going to be allowed to take my lead for free, right? So if this was my base, you're like, okay, you just sort of like, you're in your own world worrying about your lead, and you're not as much paying attention to him, right? And if I'm a pitcher and I know that, all right, you take your first couple steps kind of not really looking at me, I'm going to start to try to time it up. So go back to the base. If I'm smart, I'm going to look for some tendencies where anytime your eyes look away, and if I see it's a pattern, like, okay, on his first step, he always looks down, then he looks back up. I'm going to try to time it where I'm like looking at your leg, and I'm like, okay, he's now about to take his first step. And as soon as you take that first step, I'm stepping off and I'm making that snap throw. And then you're like, oh man, and then I'm diving back. Does that make sense? So base runners, you have to be really vigilant about watching the pitcher at all times. They're trained to watch and watch and watch and see if they can catch someone napping. And that's really the way it works. And of course, if they have a really big lead, and I'm just holding, a snap throw might get them sometimes where they jitter, right? Because what's the first leg that moves here? My left, when I make a snap throw. When I go home to pitch, what's the first thing that happens? Yes, I lift my leg up, but I shift weight into my back leg. So base runners are looking at both legs, and if you're looking at the back leg to see if it shifts weight, that's a good time to take off. But a pitcher can also capitalize on that by making that snap throw that way. All right, lefties, let me see a couple snap throws. So the mechanics of it is usually got to be a sidearm throw, because sidearm, when you have level shoulders, is the right way to do it. If you go overhand, it's going to be like a kind of like a kid's throw. So you got to get comfortable, and you're not going to get as much oomph on it. So this is going to have a really specific purpose, usually when they're taking their lead, to snap at them. Good. And the goal here is, when I'm stepping off, two things are happening at the same time. It's step and I pull. So it's boom. Let me take the ball, actually. So I know you can't, this is the imaginary rubber, but my goal is both things happen at the same time. Nice, that was a good one, yeah. The other really good time to do this, and again, you want to watch and see the runner's tendencies. Sometimes runners will take a lead when you're getting your sign, right? That's a great thing to know. And then you just got to bide your time. If he gets off a little bit and you get your sign, you start coming up, boom. Nice.